Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the English Daily Book Summary YouTube channel. In order to not stop learning, listen to an English book summary every day for free.
Gretchen Rubin, Secrets of Adulthood. Simple truths for our complex lives. Life has a way of teaching us valuable lessons, typically the hard way. So rather than starting from scratch every time, why not lean on proven wisdom to help guide our choices? In this blink, you'll learn how self-knowledge forms the foundation for happiness, why relationships sometimes flourish through difficulty, how meaningful work connects to purpose, smart strategies to handle life's messier moments, and practical hacks to ease your day-to-day. Together, these insights form a toolkit for navigating adulthood's complexity, not by providing one-size-fits-all answers, but by offering principles that help you discover the path that's right for you. Self-knowledge is the foundation of a happy life. When people ask for the best, scientifically proven way to become happier, they're often looking for a simple answer. But happiness isn't one-size-fits-all. The question, how should I build a happy life, is like asking, how should I cook an egg? The answer depends entirely on your personal preferences. Self-knowledge is the foundation for genuine happiness. While it seems like we should automatically know ourselves, after all, we spend every moment in our own company, true self-understanding proves surprisingly elusive. We become distracted by how we wish we were, by what we think we ought to be, or by what others expect us to be, losing sight of our authentic nature. Happiness doesn't always bring pleasant feelings in the moment. What really contributes to meaningful happiness is living up to our values, challenging ourselves, facing mistakes, or practicing self-discipline, even when it's uncomfortable. We can also make ourselves happy by making others happy. In the same way, our own happiness benefits those around us. Nothing takes us out of ourselves more effectively than being useful to others. Sometimes changing habits requires changing your identity. Writer James Agee couldn't reduce his drinking and smoking because doing so would have meant becoming someone he didn't recognize, someone he'd hate. But Agee died of a heart attack at 45. When you recognize the clash between your identity and desired changes, you need to reconsider whether that identity still serves your true values. Your daily habits form the invisible architecture of your life. Accordingly, what you do every day matters more than what you do occasionally. Also, it's often easier to change your surroundings and schedule than to change yourself directly. And if self-care challenges you, treat yourself like a toddler. Don't let yourself get too hungry, tired, uncomfortable, bored, lonely, or overwhelmed. Character isn't who you wish you were. It's revealed by the choices you actually make. If you want to identify what truly matters to you, look at your calendar, bank account, and living space. Pay special attention to anything you lie about or try to hide. Those are valuable clues. Like birds, bees, and bats that fly with different wings, everyone needs to find their own path to happiness. Embrace who you are, then challenge yourself to grow. Understanding human connection. Successful relationships balance acceptance and high expectations. Singer-songwriter Rosanne Cash once participated in a recording session for another band's album. Her husband, John Leventhal, a music producer and her professional collaborator, attended the session. When she later asked for his opinion about her performance, he responded that he would have pushed harder. This interaction illustrates how love operates in two complementary ways. It accepts someone completely while simultaneously challenging them to improve. Healthy relationships thrive in this productive tension. We often get it wrong when comforting others by dismissing or downplaying their feelings. When a friend's upset, saying, "It's not so bad," or "This will pass," rarely helps. Instead, acknowledging their emotions with statements like, "That must be difficult," allows them to feel understood, which provides genuine comfort. Relationships bring us into contact with people we might never meet otherwise. And within families, we meet personalities we might not choose as friends. This exposure to different perspectives stretches our capacity for understanding and acceptance. At some point, for instance, parents need to transition from coach to cheerleader, shifting from active guidance to supportive encouragement. Friendships develop more quickly through working together than through recreation. This explains why relationships formed during challenging projects often become particularly strong. The way we talk reveals what matters to us. People repeat themselves when discussing what they truly care about. And sometimes we reveal our deepest secrets to strangers rather than friends, finding freedom in the absence of history. If you ever feel like you don't belong, remember you're experiencing something universal. Even the Beatles fell prey to this feeling. Drummer Ringo Starr once told John Lennon he was leaving because "You three are really close and I'm out of it." John replied, "I thought it was you three." Then Ringo told Paul the same thing, receiving an identical response. This common feeling of exclusion, paradoxically, connects us all. In the end, how you see things shapes how you experience them. There's that old joke, a traveler stuck on one side of a river yells across, "How do I get to the other side?" The local fisherman shrugs and says, "You are on the other side." It's a reminder, perspective is everything. Every strength has a flip side, and what feels like a weakness can surprise you by turning into a strength. Watching from the sidelines isn't the same as being in the game. It's like the difference between visiting a zoo and stepping into a petting zoo. You're part of it. Relationships ask for both awareness and action. They grow when you stop observing from a distance and choose to lean in. Work is the core of purpose. What would you say is the secret to a happy life? Years ago, when a young law clerk asked Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor this question, the justice offered her a deceptively simple answer. Meaningful work is the foundation of a fulfilling life. This observation contains deeper wisdom than initially apparent, since work encompasses numerous dimensions, from career pursuits to home responsibilities, relationship maintenance, community involvement, and personal growth. The idea of work that's worth doing touches nearly every aspect of the human experience. The best kind of work feels like play. Basketball superstar Michael Jordan insisted on an unusual contract clause that allowed him to play basketball anytime, anywhere, for the love of the game. This enthusiasm transforms effort into joy. Similarly, Agatha Christie's childhood make-believe games with imaginary kittens evolved directly into her writing process as an adult. At its best, work becomes the play of adulthood, just as play is the work of childhood. Work is a pleasure when you're using beautiful tools. It's simple. The right equipment can turn even the most tedious tasks into something surprisingly satisfying. Where you start can also make all the difference in where you end up, though we often don't give that enough credit. And sure, luck plays a role in success, but it's the consistent effort you put in that opens the door for those lucky breaks. Want to hear a paradox? Being reliable can actually make you invisible. When you consistently perform well, people tend to take your contributions for granted. Kind of like how the sun only gets noticed during an eclipse. Any slip-up then stands out against your usual reliability. And when responsibilities are shared, it often leads to some people ducking out of their duties, a pattern that can hurt teamwork everywhere. Knowledge deepens your experience of the world. The more you bring to an experience, the more you take from it. A child and an astronomer both look up at the night sky, but they see entirely different things. The more you know, the more you notice. This applies to everything, from appreciating art to understanding relationships to mastering your career. Procrastination comes in many forms. Ironically, work itself can become one of the most dangerous forms of procrastination when you use it to avoid more important tasks. And nothing drains your energy more than a project you haven't even started. Perfectionism doesn't come from having high standards. It comes from anxiety. That's why perfectionists often accomplish less than their more practical peers. By understanding how you work best and spotting the sneaky ways you avoid important tasks, you can focus your energy on what matters most. The art of difficult choices. Throughout life, We regularly face dilemmas when our competing values create conflicts. We want to embrace the present moment while preparing for the future. We seek to remain open to criticism while staying committed to our vision. We hope to avoid regrets while taking necessary risks. These tensions never truly resolve, so they need to be managed rather than eliminated. Some questions answer themselves just by being asked. If you're wondering, am I being a good parent or do I drink too much? The answer is probably yes. And if you're asking, should I send this angry email? The answer is most likely no. Often just the fact that you're questioning it shows you already know what to do. Experience teaches valuable lessons, but make sure you're learning the right ones. Aesop's fable about the tortoise and the hare traditionally suggests slow and steady wins the race. However, a more fitting moral might be that overconfidence leads to carelessness, or that arrogance undermines natural gifts. Wisdom comes from discerning the truest lesson from each experience. Many decisions are difficult because the options seem so similar. When neither choice is clearly right, perhaps neither is wrong. In any case, decisions will always be made, by choice or by chance, because not deciding is itself a decision. We tend to resist change, even when we know it's necessary. So if you're already thinking about making a change, chances are you should have done it months ago. Strong temptations present a binary choice. Give them up or give up to them. That's because moderation rarely works with our most powerful desires. By completely giving up a pleasure, we often gain something valuable, either a renewed appreciation when we return to it, or the discovery that we're happier without it. And what's forbidden in childhood often becomes a luxury in adulthood. Buying hardback books, eating sugary cereal, staying up late. And finally, the best way to use willpower isn't by fighting temptation, but by avoiding situations where you need to rely on it in the first place. Just like any medicine can be harmful if used wrong, setting boundaries around your desires keeps you from going overboard. It's always easier to prevent pain than to fix it. And the same goes for temptation. It's way simpler to avoid it than to resist it. Understanding these quirks of human nature will help you make smarter choices when life throws you tough decisions. Practical wisdom for everyday life. It's easy to throw around big ideas about happiness and human nature, but let's not forget that the real value often lies in simple, practical advice that makes everyday life a little easier. So here are some straightforward hacks that tackle common problems without taking up too much time, energy, or money. If you're ever feeling lost or directionless, there are two simple approaches that can help you get back on track: stepping outside or taking a nap. Both options refresh your perspective and mental clarity. When hunting for misplaced items, concentrate your efforts in the first place you'd normally keep the object. Most lost things aren't far from where they belong. This focused approach often resolves frustrating searches within minutes rather than hours of random looking. When navigating awkward social situations, a few tried and true methods can also make all the difference. Bringing a companion to uncomfortable family events often helps ease the mood. People tend to behave better when there's an unfamiliar observer around. If you need to have a sensitive conversation, try walking side by side rather than sitting across from one another, as it naturally lowers tension. And if you're unsure of someone's name, go ahead and introduce yourself first. This way, any potential embarrassment is avoided for both of you. Boost your productivity by kicking off your day with a small, achievable task that you can complete in just a few minutes. This helps build momentum and gives you a sense of accomplishment right from the start. Don't wait for the perfect moment to dive into important projects. Your available time is unlikely to increase on its own. Instead, focus on specific actions, not just outcomes. For example, replace broad goals like become musical with concrete steps like practice an instrument for 15 minutes a day. Small changes in your environment can make a big difference. Try putting things on decorative trays, for instance. It'll instantly make them look more put together. When packing, leave a little extra room in your luggage for souvenirs or unexpected finds. And watch out for productive procrastination, tidying up to avoid more important tasks. If something goes missing, a quick cleanup often uncovers it hiding in plain sight among the clutter. To gauge your real enthusiasm for an invitation, ask yourself if you'd be excited to go tonight instead of next month. When it comes to new hobbies, start with inexpensive equipment and only invest in higher quality once you've committed to the activity over time. These everyday strategies work alongside bigger life principles. While philosophical reflections can shape your overall direction, these practical steps help you move forward. Navigating adulthood successfully means balancing high aspirations with grounded skills, building a life that's both meaningful and manageable. The main takeaway of this link to Secrets of Adulthood by Gretchen Rubin is that adulthood becomes easier to navigate with a few clear principles. It starts with self-knowledge, understanding that happiness has to be built on the foundation of your unique temperament and values. There's no universal formula for a good life, just as there's no single best way to cook an egg. Relationships thrive when you embrace their inherent tensions. Love is both unconditional and demanding. Strengths contain weaknesses, and your perspective fundamentally shapes your interactions. The feeling of not belonging is paradoxically something we all share. Meaningful work forms another pillar of a fulfilling life, especially when it feels like play. The right tools and environment can transform tedious tasks into satisfying experiences, while procrastination often disguises itself as productivity. Life presents inevitable dilemmas with no perfect solutions, only trade-offs you can learn to manage wisely. With temptations, moderation sometimes fails where complete abstinence succeeds, and preventing challenges is generally easier than overcoming them. Finally, small hacks and habits can make your day-to-day smoother, collectively creating the infrastructure for a well-lived life. Okay, and that is it for this Blink. We really hope you enjoyed it. And if you can, please take the time to leave us a rating because we always appreciate your feedback. We'll see you in the next Blink. Bye.